stands up. So that makes me feel good. You talk about low budget. I reference The Incident. Okay, we shot that in 31 days for $750,000 in this country. That picture, this picture, we shot in 6 weeks, maybe 7 weeks. So, I don't know, we shot 6 days a week. Okay, so it's 42 days. I don't know the budget, but I know it was more than $750,000. It's a very weird thing when you start talking about budgets and the amount of time it takes to shoot a film. You look at the quality of this film on screen. Forget about whether you like the story or not. The lighting, the locations, the acting is very, the direction is very, very good. So, whatever it costs. A friend of mine, Ron Winston, who's passed away, said the only thing that counts is what you see on the screen. It doesn't matter about the arguments that went on. It doesn't matter about the money that went on. But the residual, the vestiges that appear on the screen, that's what counts. And in this sense, call Dario and say, what did your father spend on this film? Because it was his father that was the producer. How's that? My dad's a producer.
I think probably a lot of people are wondering if real cat was prepared on the set. It could be a
no animals were hurt in the production of this film, to my knowledge. Oh, that's an interesting story. No, not about the cats, but Mario Adorf, who played the Catman, and the fellow who played the antique dealer. Okay. This was you may have seen it was a German-Italian co-production. Okay. Somehow, 2 actors were hired for the same role. Mario and the guy who played the antique dealer were both hired to play the Catman. And the antique dealer actor came to Rome thinking he was going to play the Catman. But we'd already shot the Catman scene. And there he was, without anything to do. And he said, oh, I'll play the antique dealer. And I thought he was absolutely wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. I don't know what would have happened if he and Mario were there at the same time. But, oh, another Mario story. There's a picture. It's called, it's a television, and it's again a German, Italian, Bulgarian co-production called Pompeii, Yesterday, Today, and Tomorrow. And Mario Adorf was supposed to play a certain role in the picture. I have no idea what happened, but he didn't. So they called me, and I got to play the Mario Adorf role in Pompeii, Yesterday, Today, and Tomorrow.
Yes. Oh, we have time for
Yeah.
We have one more question. Yes, back. Yeah.
When you're on set, having to act with people of nationality speaking, how do you handle that as an actor? Somebody who's responding.
Okay, very interesting. Today, working in Europe is not the way it was 20, 30 years ago, because most people today are speaking the same language. But I did one picture, one night at dinner, which preceded this, that Dario was the co-author on. It was Jean-Louis, and he okay, we were speaking 3 languages, English, Italian, and French. And literally, we did not speak each other's language, except we could say buongiorno or good morning, you know, that was it. We had a dialogue coach who spoke all the languages, which is very helpful. But when you're actually acting, the dialogue coach can't do anything for you. And working with Jean-Louis is a very disciplined actor. He says the lines all the time the same way. So all one has to do is know the cue, and you can come in English after he's finished his French. But Annie would improvise, and she never finished the line the same way. Now, I had the script under one night at dinner, so we're around the dinner table, and I had the script underneath in 4 languages, but it doesn't help you when you're working with the actress. But it was an acting lesson, because I knew she was never going to say the line the same way twice. But I watched her eyes, and it just occurred to me that it wasn't anything I planned, but looking in her eyes, I knew when she had finished her thought. So I never worried about what the line was. I just watched her, looked in her eyes, and I knew she had finished the thought. I knew what the thought was supposed to be, and I would come in with my line. And that was actually an interesting acting lesson for me, for what that's worth.
Tony Musante, it's been a great pleasure to share the stage with you here.
It's a pleasure for me. Thank you. Thank you, young Sonia.